Okay, pre-game, we've got to set the field up for the first game of the morning. Here in dugout 2, this is the home dugout, and in here we have a line marking equipment, and this is chalk. So we need to add some chalk into the chalk dispenser. We just add enough, taking scoops out of here, making sure it's nice and fluffy, pouring it into here until the machine is about half full. Making sure once you've done that, closing the lids. Okay, here we have these machines on both fields, but they actually, when you've got to pivot them onto one wheel so you can walk them without dispensing. This metal plate here goes into the wheel, and that's what drives to drop the chalk out. So you need to make sure where this part is in the air when you're walking, not chalking. Alright, so now we're going to mark the lines for our base pass. Most of the equipment is stored in here, and so the equipment we're going to need to do this is, we'll need a base, we'll need the string line, a couple of pegs, and a hammer. And the last thing that we'll need is the scoop to actually clean out the base plug so we can put the base in. The other thing we'll need when we're marking out for the batter's boxes is this template here, which helps us to mark it out. So we'll need to bring this to the field. So we'll take this is going to be able to mark the batter's box. Bring it down here. So that with this template here covers home plate. The other thing we just check is we come out here and make sure this front line is going to be parallel with both batter's boxes. Okay, so now we've got the actual template in its location. We're going to take a peg, scratch a line so we know where to mark. So on the inside, scratch all the way around. You stand on the frame, it'll hold it while you drag the peg along. Okay, so now this is one batter's box done. We need to mirror it for the other one. Taking the frame, picking it up, lining the template up with home plate, and lastly, looking at the front to make sure they're both straight. Now we scratch the second batter's box in. Now you can remove the frame, take it back to put it away. Okay, the next step is actually putting the string line out that we can run our chalk line against. So the parts that are where it needs to go straight from is along the edge, this back edge of home plate, and then it sits on the outside of where the line is marked on the grass. So we've got a home plate peg in. Now we can put the rope on this and start walking down the line. You just need to place this about a metre or two past the line so you've got room to work. So now we need to put a base in here to be a third reference point to make sure we've got a straight line. So you're coming down here, removing the base plug, and cleaning out the hole. Okay, with this string line now, we need to place this against the edge of the base, and then we're going to go and tension it. We need to make sure that when we're marking our line out, that the line sits in this position and that the outside part edge of the actual line is in line with this base. Now we've actually got to tie the peg onto the rope. So there's a few different ways that you can do it, but in the end you just need some sort of knot around here that isn't going to slip, so that when you tension the line and put it into the ground. So now we need to apply a fair bit of tension to the line to make sure that it stays straight. So while pulling it nice and taut, you can peg it in on the outside of the existing field line. So now you can see down the line, we have the line going along this part of the grass line, touching the outside of the base and all the way down to home plate. So we're going to remove the base so that the machine comes down, needs to go where the base is, but we need to make sure the string's going to stay there. So I normally put a couple of marks here just to make sure that it stays in the position when we walk past it. Okay, so we bring it in on the tilt because we don't want chalk coming out just yet. And we line it up on the edge of the batter's box. Once we've got it in position where it's going to drop out, placing it down, and we start walking along the line. You should walk at a continuous sort of pace, just the whole time, looking ahead so you can see where it's going to be. When you get to the end, you tip it up to the side you need, and then you can walk it off. So if you find that the actual chalk is not enough on there, we don't want to over chalk it, but it needs to be a full coverage, then you can go back down the same line. Remembering always that you need to do the infield side of the line. Okay, now you're going to put the base back in. You can see that the chalk line, the outside edge of the chalk line sits on the outside edge of the base. Okay, now we need to do the batter's boxes, and this is a little bit of detail because you have to keep lifting it up as you turn in the corner. You can start anywhere within the batting box, but you need to make sure that you're on the inside of the scratch lines. Now we need to remove the actual string line, but we don't want to mess up a good work with the batter's box chalk. So come down, pull the pin out, holding the rope tight, lift it up, and walk out to the side here, where you'll see we can get it out of the way and away from all the line. So to wind this back in, I find it easy to put your foot onto the back part. There's a little handle, you wind it and you slowly feed it across so that it all comes back in nice and neat.